presented with this interview and told he would be the other person on the panel, I had no problem with getting into a platform and debating him. And I think it's high time that South Africans stood up and said, we actually are not going to entertain you anymore. You don't have the courage of your convictions to go up and debate your political opponent. Your entire political mantle is made up of juvenile insulting epithets to people you've never met and you've never even had the decorum to engage with.
These were the words of Lindiwe after Malema refused to debate with him on a platform that was to be televised. Hello my good people, this is Golden Boy, and today we want to see how Malema refused to debate with this Lindiwe T-girl, and what are the consequences of competing with Malema, as she has failed in her political life, or between Malema and Lindiwe, who has ever succeeded in political life. So let's jump in and see what this girl has for us. Then we'll come back and we'll see what Malema replied the same lady.
She's a tea girl of the madam, and her role must remain there in the kitchen for making the tea for the madam, because that's what she chose for herself. So I'm not going to be debating with servants of the madam. If the madam wants to debate, I'm ready for her. She's running the show alone. It's only her. Lindiwe is not a revolutionary or a politician. When she explains her CV to all of you, her profile, she tells a story that she met Helen when she was doing a research for school, and then later approached Helen for a job. She was bought with a job. I was not bought with a job. I was born into politics. I'm not going to discuss politics with a politician.
So I'm a Kenyan, and the reason why I'm talking about Lindiwe, apart from you having a wrong perspective about her, she has been hosted here by local radio stations here in Kenya, but just a few months ago. But I found her to be quite intelligent and articulate, because she works hard and she wants to achieve better for South Africans, not as a cross purpose. Many people think that she's a cheap sellout, she's a puppet of Western, and that's why Malema refused to debate with her.
And you don't even represent anybody. You're not a cabinet minister, a member of parliament, a councillor, a mayor, nothing. Yet everybody is deferential and makes an effort to give you a platform. I think the time has come for South Africa to say, unless you're willing to, be accountable for your views and who you are, we are not going to take you seriously anymore. And I think as more and more young people of caliber and intelligence and thinking young people who want to really discuss the issues that face this country get into the political arena, and certainly many of them are going to be from the DA, South Africa is going to have less and less space for somebody who's really just a sensation.
Now this video was recorded some 9 years way back. Now I want to take you back to 2018 in March, where a screenshot depicting EFF leader Mapurupuru calling for racial violence on Facebook began to circulate on social media. So the post read this way, that we need to unite as black people. There are less than 5 million whites in South Africa versus 45 million of us. So we can kill all these whites within 2 weeks. We have the army and the police. If those who are farming can do it, what are you waiting for? Shoot the bear, kill the farmer. And Julius Malema, leader of third largest party of economic freedom fighters, that is EFF, stated this way, that the political rally in 2016 that are not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now. So speaking at a political rally that happened in 2018, Malema told the supporters that to go after a white man, a reference to Nelson Mandela, Bay Mayor, a thought troubling, we are cutting the throats of witnesses. So following the death of former Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe, Malema tweeted a number of controversial quotes from the late Mugabe that were racial prejudices towards white people. So most notable, the only white man you can trust is a dead man. Now, let me take you to July 2022, where Malema spoke at a press conference in Johannesburg, warning that an uprising in South Africa was imminent. In an interview with the BBC, Malema stated this way, that the violence that is going to happen in South Africa is because the elite is disappearing and the poor are becoming more poorer. And that when the annual revolution comes, the first target is going to be a white person. Now, do you think this Malema has good intention for South Africa? Do you think Malema is a Russian puppet? Do you think Malema is a Western puppet? Now, these are the things that are making people not to vote for Malema. Many don't want to vote for him. At the same time, I'm talking about the few individuals who don't want to vote for him coming 2022. Now, I'm not trying to paint South Africa because I'm a Kenyan and I'm just following silently your political events. Now, I have come to realize that Malema has good intentions not only for the South Africans but also for the Africans. He recently came to Kenya, and at least he gave some of the advices where our president Ruto was to follow suit, and he should stop being a Western puppet. This means that Malema wants Africa to be independent, total independent, where there are no Western people invading in African affairs, meaning the leaders should not be a puppet. African leaders should not be a puppet to Western leaders, to the European leaders. What do I mean is that there's a time the African leaders were put in one bus. You can imagine how these Africans are being taken granted for. Now, I'm coming to a conclusion by saying that you as South Africans, you know what is happening to your country. Now, choose the right leader, choose the person who you think can take your country forward. Thank you for watching this video up to this point, and see you in another episode. My name is Golden Boy.